Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Proper Madness, formerly Beautifully Broken. My name is Sabby, and I give a unique perspective on mental health by providing tools, guidance, and knowledge on how we can better understand ourselves, as well as our past and present experiences, and in doing so, we can help heal our mental health. I get to speak with a variety of individuals from around the world as they share their stories from their journey through their mental wellness so that it helps others stand strong and use their voice. Well, welcome back everyone to Proper Madness. Today I get to have Jennifer Owens on. She is a singer that I discovered randomly on YouTube a few years ago and then also through Instagram, and she has blessed her presence with me today, and I'm very excited to talk to her.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Of
you. It's
course, of
very,
course.
very lovely to have been asked.
Of course. I think it's a good series to start. I'm doing behind the music and the meaning behind like people's lyrics or their journeys and how music has helped them. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Music for me is a real healer, actually. I use music to kind of get me through all sorts of situations. And yeah, and that has also carried through with my music as well, writing music. And it's been really helpful to kind of almost like get my diary entries out into a song type thing and then put them out into the world and then sing them as well. So yeah, no, yeah, music definitely is like a therapy for me. Absolutely.
That's really cool. I like that. Do you write a lot of your songs? I'm sorry, you write all of them. I'm assuming. And for you, how's that process? Because I'm a writer, so for me, it just kind of comes and then I shoot it out and then that's it.
It really depends on kind of what the sort of song is about. When my grandmother died in 2015, I think it was, um I sat down with Guy, and Guy is my manager, but he's also my kind of partner and fiance now. And I said to him, I said, I want to write a song, and I want to write a song about Nan. I don't know what I want to call it. No, I do know what I want to call it. I want to call it Turn to Me. I don't know how I want it to go. I don't know what I want it to sound like. I just know I want it to be called Turn to Me. And we sat down, and within about 20 minutes, we'd written this song. Um, but then other times it happens where Guy will say things like, we should write a song about that, or we'll go through a situation and he'll say, oh, maybe we should write a song about that. And sometimes a melody will come first or a lyric will come first. So it really depends on kind of the situation. Really, it's different every time. um but yeah, it's they're always, more often than not, they're always about situations that I, or both me and Guy, have been through. And then we'll sit down at the piano. I don't play, sadly, but we'll sit down at the piano or with Guy's guitar, and first of all, we'll come up with like a hook, like a chorus, or perhaps one line, and then we'll build a track around that. Guy does the kind of track building, and then I will think about melody and lyrics. And sometimes it can be really quick. Sometimes, like I say, it can be 20 minutes. Sometimes it can be a couple of years. Like sometimes we've started a song and then left it. And then a couple of years later, we're like, oh, we'll pick that back up again and we'll finish that. And you kind of know, when it's right, when it's there, and you kind of get that feeling of like, this is a good song. This is a good song. We've written a good song. But yeah, it's different every time. And yeah, that's the bit I enjoy the most, is that it's every time something new comes out of, a new beginning type thing.
I like that. Is it in a way, like you said, when you started it, it's a healing for you, and maybe through that process of healing, it takes longer. Like like things in our life, it takes longer to heal from.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's really true, actually. Sometimes when I'm ready to write a song about, something I've been through or a feeling I've experienced, that's when the kind of creative juices start flowing. But yeah, no, that's true actually. Yeah, it is definitely like a healing. It is, and then singing it as well, performing it, and going out and singing it for people. Sometimes it can be emotionally exhausting. Just kind of
Mm.
putting my life on a plate and being like, "Here you go. This is everything I feel in a song."
No, it's good. It's that vulnerability, I think, and authenticity. I have to say though, your voice is one of the few voices that every time I hear it, I just get chills. But you can hear the tonation of the emotions behind it as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Like you make. I'm sure a lot of other people feel your emotions through that. And how was that for you when you know you're making someone else move emotionally for you? Is that cathartic in a way?
So for me, when I've always been really connected to music, and I've always been really moved by music. When I was younger, I thought I was weird. I thought that I was just strange, and I was the only person that had this kind of like connection to music. And then you grow up and you kind of move in the same circles of people who feel the same. Um, and then I realized, oh, actually, like there are other people that feel like this as well. um, and when I was, I think it was when I was probably like 20, no, probably younger than that, maybe like 18, 19. I was going through a really rough time. I was very depressed, and kind of saw no way out, really. I didn't see any, couldn't find the light in my life, all those things, all those classic kind of symptoms of depression. And I was having singing lessons at the time. I've always had singing lessons, but I was with this guy who really just got me, really understood me, and he knew my voice and he knew me. And he said to me one day, "I've come across this song and I really think that you'll really like it, and I think you'll sing it really well." And the song was Anything Worth Holding On To, written
Mm.
by Scott Allen. And I listened to it, and almost instantly I remember thinking, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in what I'm feeling right now. Somebody else, I don't know who this person is. I don't know, where she is in the world, but she feels exactly how I feel right now. And in that moment, it was like a kind of light bulb moment of like, wow, this song has like almost saved me. Um, and that moment that I had, them years ago, that's what I strive to create when I make music. I want to be there for somebody in the way that that music was there for me that day. If I can write songs and move people and be there for people and comfort people and save people, all of those things, if I can do that, then that's my job done. That's what I want to do. And so yeah, it's kind of giving back to this world of music that however many years ago was there for me in my most vulnerable, saddest time.
That is strange you say that. Not strange, but I had the exact same experience about 2 years ago. It sounds silly, but I was listening to Machine Gun Kelly
Yeah,
and there was a song he wrote, and I had the exact same impact. I had the exact same thought too. I went, hang on, I'm not alone. Exactly the words that he said was exactly how I felt.
yeah,
And I went, what the heck? Okay. And then it just opened up a whole new world. And that's similarly how I got started with this whole thing. But it promoted me to get help too, because
yeah,
I went, oh,
absolutely. Yeah, did
yeah.
for me as well. And it's so funny in the songs that you can hear it in, like, Machine Gun Kelly, like you can hear it anywhere. You can hear those moments. And I'm a real like lyric person. I know other people don't concentrate so much on the lyrics, but for me, I really cling on to the lyrics. And I think it's Faithfully by Journey is another one where a couple of years ago I just listened to it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is exactly how I feel. This is amazing. And yeah, it can be any style, any genre. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Sometimes it can just really like hit a chord, hit a nerve, and you're like, yeah, I'm not alone.
Exactly. But which is what's so beautiful about music. And I'm also a lyric person too, because I'm a writer. But That's why I started this series, because I can't tell you how many people have told me that music has been therapy for them in some sense, whether it's to get their emotions out that they can't feel, or to feel less alone in whatever way that that is.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
true. So true. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how music can just be there for you. Yeah, it baffles me. It blows my mind, even though it's
Yeah.
what I do every single day. It blows my mind, and I feel really sometimes I feel really sad for the people who don't experience music in the same
Mhm.
way, because my sister's like that. My sister doesn't experience music in the same way I do. She listens to music and she enjoys it, but it doesn't move her. Other
Yeah.
things move her. And sometimes I want to say to her, like, him, like, listen to this song, like, listen, really listen. She's like, yeah, no, and I feel really sad for those people. I know they get their joy and their comfort from other places, but yeah, I want everybody to experience that from music.
That's literally the exact thoughts that I have had about music you have voiced, and I feel less crazy, because I swear I'll be sitting there going, "Isn't this such a good song? Doesn't it just make you feel alive?" And people look at me funny, and I'm going, "Well, never mind. I'll just enjoy it in my car."
So true. So true. Yeah, it's really true.
I was listening to, so before we chatted, I never read the caption under your music video Sorely Missed. I had no idea what that was about. Do you want to explain what it's about for some people maybe who just don't know?
Yeah, so Sorely Missed, I always get the dates wrong. We wrote it, I think it was 2018. I think it was 2018. And I was working at the local pub then. And this was back when we were kind of putting our life and soul into music, and I was kind of exhausting every opportunity to kind of just make a living anywhere I could. And I was at the local pub, and there were, I think it was 3 guys in the space of a few months. Men, they were men, and they were, you know, big, burly, strong in that kind of, typical sense. And all 3 of them, in the space of probably about a few months, took their own lives. And it really shook me and Guy. It really kind of opened our eyes to the fact that these men who everybody knew at the pub to be, the guys that come in and they make a laugh and they buy a round of drinks, and it's, the big life and soul of the room. They were suffering. They were suffering in silence, and they were struggling. And both me and Guy said we were worried about another friend of ours. He luckily is still with us. Thankfully, he's still with us, and I think he's better. He doesn't open up completely, but I think he's in a better place now. And both of us at the time had said, I'm really worried about him. I'm really worried, this has happened to 3 other guys, and what can we do to in any way kind of let him know that we're there. And so we wrote a song. We wrote Sorely Missed, and I remember sitting here with Guy and just feeling emotionally kind of exhausted by what we were kind of putting onto paper, what the song that we were creating. And I do see it now as a song that to let people know that they would be sorely missed, that should they ever feel like that's their only option, that they would be sorely missed, and there are people who would miss them. And we all think it, and we all wish that we could get those people back and say to them, come on, open up, talk to me, what can I do, how can I help you? But yeah, and I've had so many messages. I've had so many people get in touch on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and say to me, I got help because of this song. You saved my life because of this song. I don't feel so alone because of this song. And then that goes back to how I feel about music, how I want people to have this comfort from the music that I write. And yes, we wrote it for that one guy, and it was a song for him. But actually, putting it out into the world and releasing it onto all of the music platforms means that, whoever listens to it might feel the same. Whoever listens to it might think it's time to get some help now, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's amazing that that's the motivation behind making that song, you know,
Yeah,
because it's not purely selfish at all. It's a way to kind of change the perspective on the world a little bit in regards to their mental health, and the
yeah,
fact that you elaborate that and specified that it was about men, which is, you know, sometimes they're the ones who have the hardest time speaking up because of that facade that they have to put on. So
absolutely.
yeah, 100%. I completely resonate with that. So yeah. In regards to your own depression growing up, how did music specifically help you? Was there a pivotal moment when you were younger, or?
Um, I didn't really experience depression until it was about 18, 19, 20. And I was so in denial about it. I was so, it's not real, it doesn't exist, it's not a real thing. And my mum kept saying to me, because I was away at university, and she kept saying to me, Jennifer, you've got to do something about this. If you don't, if you don't do something, I'm going to have to come and get you. I'm going to have to do something myself. And I went to the doctors this one day, and she sat me down and spoke to me, and it was almost as if she'd kind of allowed me to feel the way that I felt. Um, and she said to me, I think you're depressed. And she got the leaflets out, all of the, depression, anxiety, all of those leaflets. And I took them home back to my university room. And I just remember sitting, looking at them thinking, this isn't real. Like, this isn't a real thing. I'm just having a bad day. This isn't a real emotion. Reading through these leaflets, like, this is rubbish, And it was only until I allowed myself to say I'm not very well that I could then begin the kind of healing process. And up until that point, that took a good 6 months, maybe a year, of me completely in denial about how I was feeling, and just thinking it was normal that I didn't want to get up, I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to sing. And for me, that's a huge indicator now. When I'm having a bad time, when I'm having a bad few months or weeks or days, and I'm not singing, that's when I know something's wrong. And back then, I just thought it was normal. I thought it was okay. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know what part of me changed, but I then allowed myself to not be very well. I was not very well. And that was what I kept saying to myself. I'm not very well at the moment. Um, and music was always there. Music, and as I said before, it's always been something that I felt really emotionally kind of in touch with, and I've always felt really open to music. And that moment with my singing teacher and anything worth holding on to, that was the kind of pivotal moment where I knew that I needed to do something about this. I knew I needed to get help. I wasn't alone. It was a real thing. I wasn't very well. And from that one song, from Anything Worth Holding On To, that kind of then opened up my journey into getting help, and
Mhm.
getting the help that I needed, not just seeing the doctor and being given a leaflet. I then needed to have some therapy, and I needed medication. And it was that song, really. It was Anything Worth Holding On To that changed things.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful to hear. No, it is. It's because when you hear each individual story of how someone got help, but they're always so different.
Yeah,
Um, which is, I think, what's good is maybe someone out there will hear this and go, "Hang on," you know.
yeah, yeah.
So, therapy wise, how was that for you? Was it tough to go into that? It's a long process, I know, but how was that
Absolutely.
experience for you?
So I started off with I did actually have some counselling when I was at school. Um, and I wasn't really too sure, because I was younger. I wasn't really too sure why I was having it. And I remember asking her one day, like, "Why am I here?" And she said, "Oh, you kind of express these feelings," because I was having really bad anxious thoughts. And then the kind of school doctor said, "Let's get you in to see the counsellor." So it wasn't completely new for me, because I'd had that experience with my counsellor at school. But the doctors put me in with cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm.
and my view of myself was so low, and it was just at like 0. And every week she used to draw like a scale on the board and say to me, where do you rate yourself as a person? Because one of my main things is that I see myself as a bad person, and this is really personal, but I see myself as a not a very nice person. I see myself as a
Mm.
bad person, and so many people say to me, you're not, that's not true, that's not true. And this was one of the things I was really struggling with, was just thinking I was a terrible person. And every week she would draw this scale on the board and say, okay, how much of a good person are you this week? And we started at 3. I remember I was on a scale of 1 to 100. I was 3. I was a good person, number 3. And as the weeks went on and on and on and on, slowly and slowly and slowly, it started building up. And I remember walking away, and this is no word of a lie, I left the office where I had the therapy, and I walked past that office twice a week, every week, twice a week, and there was a rose bush to the left of me. And for the first time, I saw the rose bush and I smelt the roses. And in that moment, I thought, oh my goodness, this is life. Like, life is here again, and there's the rose bush, and it smells amazing, and I'm a good person. I can't believe this has happened. It was like a light bulb moment of, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be okay. And it took a long time. It took a long time to get there. I was with her for about 5 months, and that was seeing her once, maybe twice, sometimes twice a week. But I got there, and it was through the cognitive behavioral therapy that I started that process of starting to feel better. And it is a long thing, and it always goes on. And I still see a therapist now. I see her once a month now, sometimes more when she feels I need more from her. And for me, I always describe it as, I can prioritize, once I come away from my therapist, I can prioritize the thoughts that I need to think about the most. And then I can kind of shelve the other ones that I don't need to think about. I need to focus on my job. I need to focus on my work. I don't need to worry about, am I a bad person? Because I'm a good person. And that's what she does. And it almost resets me, ready for the
Mm.
next month. And then I go again the next month, and we do the same again. But I absolutely 100% believe in therapy, and it's hard and it's really difficult. And there are moments when I come away and I think, why am I bothering? Why am I taking time and money out to see this person who makes me feel terrible and remember things that I don't want to remember and feel bad? But without the therapy and without the medication, and I have to be honest about that, without my therapy and my medication, I don't know. I don't know what sort of, position I'd be in now. I don't know where I'd be without the combination of the two. It really was, the winning combination for me.
That when you described the rose bush, I could literally see that moment. I think and if anyone listening has had that moment, you know what it is. It's the moment where you walk outside and the colors are brighter,
Yeah,
sounds are more vivid, you feel more alive. Just little things will just start to make you smile and happy. Like the other day, I saw a hummingbird. Just saw it like get nectar out of a flower, and to me that was the cutest thing ever. And I was like, wow, what a time! I'm alive. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, but it does take time to have that moment. It's almost like depression or any sort of emotional barrier that we have is like a cloud over
yeah,
us, and once you go to therapy and you take medication or either or, then that cloud's lifted and you're able to kind of move throughout life a little bit more
definitely.
easy.
I
Yeah.
always I always describe it to people as, I feel as though I'm looking through like tunnel vision. Everything gets really dark and it gets really kind of clouded over,
Hmm.
and I lose the ability to see a time in the future when I'm not going to feel like this. and
Yeah.
i and I also lose the ability to look back and remember a time when I didn't feel like this. and you feel just stuck in the moment and out of control, and it's like a wheel spinning, and the mud is like just coming off, and you're stuck in the mud, and it's just the mud is just going everywhere, and it's clouded over, and you're just stuck. You can't see forward,
Yeah.
you can't see back, and you're just stuck. And yeah, that moment. And my nan said to me, before she died, a couple of months before she died, she said to me, one day, Jen, it just you look up and it's gone and it's over. And I remember at the time thinking, that can't be right, Nan. Like that, you're talking rubbish. That can't be right. And she was right. She was absolutely right. One day you just look up and it's like you're here, present in the moment, and it's gone, and it's not gone forever. And that's that's the truth of it. It's not gone forever. It's gone for the time being.
Yeah.
But you're there, and the clouds have lifted, and the colours are bright. Like you say, the colours are bright, and the smells are there, and yeah.
Do you find that playing music and writing music helps you stay more present, and how does that help you stay connected to yourself and your life?
I always sometimes I kind of forget that I've written these songs that are so close to my heart, and then I'll sing them, and on like a live stream or in a gig or something, and it's almost like I remember those feelings, and I remember how it felt when I wrote it, and I remember what I was going through when I wrote it, and that almost brings me back down. That grounds me. I tend to kind of float around in this kind of like haze of music and how wonderful it is, and then sometimes the music brings you back down, and it does ground you, and it definitely grounds me, and it definitely reminds me that those music are there for that music is there for a reason. Those moments are there, those moments in time are there for a reason, and that's why I wrote the song. And yeah, it definitely does kind of bring me back, and that's every time I sing them. Really, every time I sing those songs, it's a reminder that they're there forever. Those moments in time are there forever.
I like that. Yeah. I also noticed you do a lot of covers. How did you get into that, and why did you get into that? And I'd
So
like
the
to know
covers
more.
were I did covers. I did the covers in, again, it's the dates again. I'm so bad with dates. I did covers in, I think it was like 2016 to early 2018. And we were uploading them regularly. And then we had a little bit of interest from a couple of labels, like major record labels. And they were kind of a little bit turned off by the covers, and it kind of wasn't the right vibe and all of that sort of stuff. So we got rid of all of them and took them all offline, and then didn't really touch covers again until last October, I think it was. And we were just working away, like really like hammering away at the industry, trying desperately to kind of get a major label or a radio station or somebody to like pay attention. And one day me and Guy were like, why are we bothering with that? Like what is going to make us happy about involving somebody else who's potentially going to tell us that what we're doing is wrong, or they don't like it, and so many times people would message and say, what happened to your covers? Where are your covers? Why can't I find your covers anymore? And then we just kind of, me and Guy just had this epiphany, like, let's do the covers again. Let's do the covers. Let's do them with confidence. Let's do them with pride. And let's not worry about who's going to think it's not cool, who's going to think it's not the right vibe. And since we made that decision, funnily enough, everything else has just grown. The original music has grown, and the kind of followers and the fans and the interest has come with it. It's almost as if we stepped into this new confident version of ourselves, and then everything just fell into place from there. And so I guess the covers were a bit of a protest, but actually they've worked really well, and people love them, and I really enjoy recording them. I really enjoy putting them out. And as a result, people then come over to the original music, which is the main goal, that people come and listen and are and that music is there for them as well. So yeah, it was a happy accident.
What do you enjoy with doing covers? What do you love about it?
I love taking a song that's not necessarily a song that I would sing
Mm.
and completely making it my own, completely turning that song around, and it being like a song I've written myself, you know, putting my own spin on it. And then it's like, oh, you know, maybe I did write this song. I didn't write those songs. Credit to the people who did write the songs, but I love putting my own spin and my own feel on it. Like Creep, when we did Creep,
Yeah.
we changed that a lot, and we took inspiration from a cover from somebody else that we saw, and then we were like, right, let's put drums on it, let's do this, let's do, you know, all of the big kind of like notes in it. And yeah, that's what I love. I love taking the song, working it out, and making it sound like it was kind of written for me type thing.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. Yeah, I heard Creep. It's one of my favorite songs. I mean, amongst the others that you have posted, like Iris, I like Iris. Um, total alternative rock and roll sort of girl. But the way that you sing those songs then turned me on to the other songs that you started singing. So, I mean, what you're doing is working.
Thank you.
Yeah. What would you say to fellow artists who also have that struggle of trying to stick out there? And because, like you said, it's almost like you're trying to get the attention of these other record labels, and then finally you just stepped into your own authenticity, and then that was it.
I think I think it's really easy to have this mindset of making it, this kind of, I need to make it, I need to be the next Adele, I need to be the next Ed Sheeran. But actually, the industry is changing, and social media enables you to have a direct access to the people who want to listen to a music. And I truly believe that there are people out there who will want to listen to you whatever you do. You just have to find that audience. And if you kind of clutter what you're doing with, you know, major labels and other managers and, you know, other press officers and all of those things, then that road to the audience, which is ultimately where you want to go, just gets blurred and just gets kind of, you know, lost. So my main advice would be, you know, try to let go of that making it thing that everybody kind of wants. Stick with what you're doing, stick with what you love, do what you enjoy, and someone will want to listen to it. People will want to listen to what you enjoy, because there's a market for everything. um and yeah, just keep going, and be honest. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with the people who invest in you, because there's so much, you know, there's so much fakeness online, so many things on social media that just aren't real. And even though we're aware of it, and we're more aware of it now than we were, I still think we've got quite a long way to go. And just be real, just put yourself out there as who you are, and the people will come, and listen.
You know what? I needed to hear that too. I'm glad I heard that.
Oh,
No, I did, because I feel like as any creator, you do struggle with trying to make it in a sense, but if you stick to your mission and your goal and what you love doing, then it doesn't matter. Then the rest will follow.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And sometimes I'll get really caught up on, you know, like followers, which is so silly, but you know, I'll look at numbers or followers or likes and this, and if they drop off, I have to say to myself, do you know what? The people who are going to stick around will stick around. The
Mm,
people who aren't going to stick around aren't going to stick around. So
yeah.
to be there for the people that are going to be there, you know, that's my new kind of like outlook on it. And
Yeah.
you have to have an outlook like that, because you can get so caught up on it, so caught up on what everybody else is doing and how many likes or dislikes you've got, you know, all of this sort of stuff, and you just got to stay focused. And it's hard work. It's not an easy ride. So work hard, work smart, and just keep going.
I think it's true in life though too. Whoever sticks around sticks around. Whoever goes, not meant. It's not meant. It's not
Yeah,
meant for you.
definitely.
Do you want to talk about Bad Love? Because I know that's your recent single that's out. Yeah.
Yeah, so um, I released Bad Love last Friday, and we wrote this one in 2018. And at the time, it was one of those songs where we were like, this is a good song. We have written a really good song. We were so buzzing about it. Um, and we kind of played around with it a little bit. We thought, should we make it slow? Should we make it more dark? Or should we have like a full band on it? And then we went with the kind of full band version. And I'm so glad we went with it like that, because it just works and it just, I love it. I really enjoy singing it. Um, and yeah, it's about, the inspiration kind of comes from my mum and dad's relationship. They had a little bit of a rough time as a couple, and I always used to say to my mum, well, what can we do about it? How can we move on from it? And things happened. My dad fell ill in 2015, and naturally they kind of separated anyway, and so they're in good places now as people separately, and that's fine. But I remember as a young person, I always used to think, how can we stop hurting each other, with this love that we think is good? How can we make this different? And it kind of comes from that kind of idea of, if you have a bad feeling or a bad love or a bad relationship, what can we do about it? How can we be strong? How can we move on from it and be better because of it?
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I'm super, super proud of it. I really, really love it. It's a great song, and we still love it so much. And it's one that I can't wait to sing live, because obviously I've done no like live singing for,
Yeah.
this whole thing.
I was gonna ask how has that been for you? Has that been a bit of a struggle?
Yeah, it's been hard. It's I've done a lot online. I've done a lot of live stuff online. I've been on Twitch and Instagram Live and Facebook Live, but it's just not the same. It just doesn't have the same feel in the room with everyone, and I've really missed it. And I can't wait to meet the people that I've kind of met online over the past year and sing for those people and pick them out of a crowd and be like, oh yeah, like I chat to you on Instagram and I chat to you on Facebook. And but yeah, it was tricky at times, just really missing it. And also vocally as well, because I'm not doing a full set, like a full performance. I've had to really kind of keep my vocal stamina up, because it's
Mm.
one song here and two songs there. So I've had to really do a lot of kind of like work with my own voice to make sure that when we do come out of this, I'll be fit and ready to do a full set of singing.
That's so true. I used to sing when I was younger, and anytime I got out of it, I would there was a vast difference all of a sudden in your vocal strength and even your diaphragm, everything. It would be a
Absolutely.
mess. Yeah.
Mm,
Even
yeah.
now, because I haven't done anything in ages. In my car, I'm like, oh man, wow, I'm like winded. I can't. I'm like wheezing in between trying to sing something. The only places I will sing are in my car and in the shower.
Do you know
That's
what? I
it.
hear that so much, because I do a little bit of teaching as well, vocal coaching online, and so many people say to me, "I sing in my car." They call it karaoke, and they sing in the car, and they put their big songs on, and they do. I think it's a really safe space. I think everybody
Yeah.
feels really safe in their car, and I think it sounds really good in the car as well, because it's really closed in. I think
Hmm.
you could, like anybody is a pop star in their car. Absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
no, 100%. I got my windows tinted purposely for that. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I'm like, I'm having a rough day. I'm just gonna sing.
They should be pleased that they've got like front row seats to your
Oh,
concert, like, at the
a
traffic light.
100%. I'm like 5 foot nothing. There's just see a head and eyes.
Enjoying the song.
Oh God, story of my life. So the last question I have is, if anyone out there has resonated with the story you've told about your life and anything you've been through or anything else, what would be the advice that you give them?
My first piece of advice for anyone that comes to me when they're struggling is to try to accept it, because that's what I struggle with the most. Try to accept that you're not very well. You would treat a sore knee the same way that you would treat a sore head, you know? And the quicker that you can accept that actually for the time being you're poorly, the easier the kind of process becomes. And I would say as well, find the thing that you find comfort in, whether that's music or painting, photography, talking, cooking, baking, any of those things. Just find it, and it might take you a couple of tries to find the thing that really is there for you, but there'll be something, and open up, and I know that is hard. I know that it is really hard to say what you're feeling and vocalize those inner thoughts that you only say to yourself, but it's really important to. And most people that you come across will have experienced something similar, yeah. I think they're the most important things. It's hard, it's really hard, and it's really dark, and you feel like you're never going to get out of it, but it's only saving grace is that people survive it. That's the only thing that makes it better, is that you can get through it, and you will get through it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on here and doing this. This means so much, and I hope it helps someone out there as well. So
thank you so much for having me. Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's great what you do, and as
Thank
you say,
you.
if it can be there for someone, same thing as the music. Music is, if what you do can be there for someone, then you succeeded.
Exactly. And you can, if you want, you can plug where people can find you and all of that.
So you can find me. So I'm on pretty much all social medias. I'm on Instagram, Jennifer Owens Music. I'm on TikTok, Jennifer Owens. Facebook, Jennifer Owens Music. I'm on Twitter, Jennifer Owens. I'm on YouTube, Jennifer Owens. So all of those social medias, you can find me, and we can just have a chat and have a nice time. But the music as well. The music is on all streaming platforms. So wherever you listen to your music, whether that be, Spotify, Amazon, Deezer, I'm there. So Jennifer Owens, a search of Jennifer Owens will usually pop me up.
Thank you so much for listening, and remember, you have to go through the eye of the storm to see the clear horizon ahead. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next week.